Here are the model methods and answers for the end of October maths assessment. Question 1 is where you have a number and you have to times it by 100. You don't have to do a formal sum for this. You just have to times it by 10 and times it by 10 again. So if we start with 365, timesing by 10 will give us 3,650. Timesing by 10 again, we'll move everything one column to the left again, and that will give us 36,500. So that's our answer to number 1. For number 2, we're dividing by 100, so we have to go the other way. So 469 divided by 10 would be 46.9, and divide by 10 again will be 4.69. So there's our answer. So 2 places to the left for multiplying by 100, 2 places to the right for dividing by 100. Question 3 is a rounding question, so we've got 3795 units, tens, hundreds, thousands. The method I've taught the children is to look at what you are rounding to and underline that digit. So we're rounding to 1,000, we underline the thousands digit. The next number is called our decider. The other 2 numbers here don't count at all, ignore those. This is the one where it's going to help us decide to round up or round down. Now if it's 5 or above, you round up, so this will turn into 4,000. We round up to the nearest 1,000 going upwards. So 4,000 will be your answer. For the next one, slightly harder because we're rounding to a nearest decimal. So if we've got 4.675 when we write in our columns, this is our units or our ones, our tenths, our hundredths, our thousands. We're being asked to round to the nearest hundredth. This is our hundredths digit, so we underline it, and this one is our decider. So because it's a 5, we round up. Our answer will become 4.68. There's our answer to question 4. Now all of the questions so far you can do without much working out, but from number 5 onwards you need to make sure that you show your workings, as you may get points for those workings. So this one here, you need to be very careful lining up the numbers. Most people who get this one wrong, it's because they've lined up the columns incorrectly. First number, 34.695. Now the difficulty comes because you've only got one decimal place on the next one, so I always start by putting the decimal point in. Then I'd put the 2 after it, which is this 2 here. Then working backwards through the columns, that is what we're faced with as an adding sum. Now, if you want to, you can put some placeholder zeros in to fill up those spaces if they're annoying you, or if you think this will make it slightly easier. So here we go. 5 and 0 gives us 5. 9 and 0 gives us 9, 6 and 2 is 8, and I've forgotten to put my decimal point in. I always nag the children about that, so now they'll be nagging me, no doubt. 4 and 9 makes 13, put in the 3, carry the 1, 3, 2 and 1 makes 6, and 1 and nothing makes 1, so your answer is 163.895. The next one's a subtraction sum. Here we go, 3221 and 1479. We are going to need some exchanging here. So, units, tens, hundreds, thousands. For this I will change colour of pen to make it easier so you can see what I'm doing. I'll just select green. Here we go. So, you starting in the units, 1 take away 9 you can't do. So you take one of the tens, which leaves 1 10 behind, and you swap that 10 for 10 units. Put that in front of the 1 to make 11. Now you can do this sum because the number on the top is bigger. 11 take 9 is 2. In the next column we've got 1 take away 7, which we can't do, so we take one of the hundreds, leaving 100 behind, change that 100 for 10 tens, put it in front of the one that's already there, making 11 tens. 11 take 7 is 4. 1 take 4 we can't do in the hundreds, so in the thousands we take 100, in the thousands we take 1,000 away. We swap that 1,000 for 10 hundreds, which will give us 11 in the hundreds column. 11 take 4 is 7. And then over to the thousands, it's now 2 take away 1 is 1. So the answer is 1,742. Practice those over and over again if you find them challenging, and watch the videos to help you. Number 7, now this is a bit of a stinky rat bag takeaway because there are lots of zeros up on the top. These are very common in the 11 plus because of the fact that they quite often give you word problems that include money. Make sure you line up your decimal places very carefully. and then to take away. Here we go. Again, I'll maybe swap back to red, and we'll do our taking away. Now, so they don't nag me, I'll put my decimal point in now. So we start with 0, take away 3 in this column. We can't do it, so we can't do anything in this column, or this column, or this column. We have to go all the way across to the 2. We take one of those from the 2 and we swap it for 10 of these. Cross that off as we take one away to swap it for 10 of these. Cross that off as we take one away to swap it for 10 of these. Cross that off as we take one away to swap it for 10 of those. And finally we're ready to do our takeaway bit. We've done the difficult exchanging. Here we go. 10 take 3 is 7. 9 take 6 is 3. 9 take 7 is 2. 9 take 4 is 5. And 1 take nothing is 1. So our answer would be 152.37. Number 8 is a short multiplication. We've got 37.95, and that's money. Okay, and we're timesing it by 4. You don't have to put the pound sign in the question, but it's useful to put it in the answer. So, put my decimal point in straight away so I don't get nagged. Here we go. Let's swap to a different colour to make it stand out. 5 times 4 would give us 20, so I'll put my 0, carry my 2. 9 times 4 is 36, add the 2 is 38. 7 times 4 is 28, add 3 is 31. 3 times 4 is 12, add the 3 gives you 15. £151.80 is your answer. Number 9. Now the way we do this depends upon which school you go to. If you go to a school that isn't Sir Robert Jeffreys in Landrake, this is going to be the best method for you. 369 times 14. Okay, here we go. One line, not two. So first we're going to times the whole of the top number by the 4. So 9 times 4 is 36. Carry my 3. 6 times 4 is 24. Add the 3 is 27. I'm going to scribble over the top of that number because I don't need it anymore. And then 3 times 4 is 12. Add the 2 is 4. So I put my 4 in and I carry my 1 over to here. So now I've got to multiply everything by this number 1. Let's swap colour. I'll go to a green. Because I'm timesing everything by the 1 and the 1 is in the tens column, everything's 10 times bigger. So we put a big fat 0 here to shove every digit in the answer along to the left one place. So we say 9 times 1 is 9, 6 times 1 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3. So on this line here, you've really done 369 times 4. And on this line, you've done 369 times 10. Don't forget the big fat 0. That's where most people go wrong. To work out 369 times 14, all you have to do is add the answers together. So you get a 6. That makes 16. Carry the 1. 4 and 6 makes 10. Add 1 is 11. And that makes 5. 5,166. SRG method is on the next screen. Okay, here we go. Same sum. 369 times 14. Now SRG, they do exactly the same thing, but they do it the opposite way around. So they start by timesing everything by the 1. So they circle the 1 and then they lay an egg. Or as we call it, a big fat 0. Some people call it a big fat donut. So let's times everything by the 1 now. 9 times 1 is 9. 6 times 1 is 6. And 3 times 1 is 3. So they've done 369 times 10 on that first line. Now what they do is they swap to do the 369 times 4. So 9 times 4, 36. 6 times 4, 24. Add 3 is 27. 3 times 4 is 12. And 2 makes 14. Again, add them together. So on that line, we've got 369 times 4. We've got 6 here, we've got 16, we've got 11, and we've got 5. Exactly the same answer as this screen back here, but their method, notice the two numbers are the other way around. If you don't go to SRG, it's probably best to stick to the first method. SRG people, stick to your method as it works for you. And finally, number 10, we've got a decimal remainder question, so when we're doing division. So 46295 divided by 4. We know instantly we are going to get a remainder because this digit is odd So I'm going to put a .000 on the end of the number. This doesn't affect the value of the number, but it will help us to give a decimal remainder. Here we go. I'll put my decimal point up here too. 4s into 4 goes 1 with no remainder. 4s into 6 goes 1 remainder 2. 4s into 22 would be 5 with a remainder of 2. 4s into 29 would, the closest we could get is 7, and we'd have 1 left over. 4s into 15 would be 3 remainder 3. Now, just as we've done so far, any remainder goes in front of the next number along. 4s into 30 goes 7 remainder 2. And 4s into 20 goes 5. And as there's no remainder, we don't need that 0 on the end. So the answer is 11573.75.